Revenge films.
My wife got pregnant, but in the strangest way. She was my second wife, and I already had a daughter with my first one. My daughter's 7 years old, and I've been married to my second wife for 5 years now. They got along, which makes me happy. My first wife was horrible to me. She cheated on me and left me and our daughter for another guy. I promised myself that I would take good care of my daughter, so when I considered proposing to my second wife, I told her that I didn't plan on having any more kids. I didn't want to complicate my daughter's life by having other children. I did think that there was a small chance that my second wife would get pregnant anyway, and if she did, I was going to raise that child in the same way that I do my daughter. I also knew that I might change my mind about kids. I was going to go with the flow. When my wife came to me and told me that she was pregnant, I was taken by surprise because we were using birth control, and I was really careful about that. I accepted the fact though, because I knew that birth control wasn't perfect. But after a while, I had my doubts. Although I didn't suspect that my wife was cheating on me, I decided to be honest about my feelings, and told my wife how I felt. She then told me something that astonished me. She said that she got pregnant by artificial insemination, using our old contraceptives. I couldn't blame her for what she did though, because it made me realize that my wife wanted a child of her own. I regretted not taking the time to sit down and listen to my wife's needs. My wife cried and apologized to me. What she told me sounded convincing enough, but I still couldn't wrap my head around it. I asked her how many times she tried until she was successful, and she told me that she succeeded on the first try. I wondered if it was possible to get lucky on the first try, but I guess it was some sort of miracle. Stranger things have happened to other people. I decided to trust my wife's words. She told me that after we got married, her desire to have a child with me became stronger, but she was reluctant to open up to me about her feelings, because we had gotten married under the promise that we wouldn't have kids together. In the end, she decided to get pregnant secretly and surprise me. She told me that she didn't think that she would actually succeed though. Even if things had worked out, she planned on telling me that it was an issue with the contraceptives. But after she became pregnant, she felt really guilty about keeping the truth from me. I wasn't upset with her. I could understand why she would want kids. I already had a daughter, and I felt selfish for making her feel this way. I told myself that I needed to be more understanding and caring toward my wife. I was going to fully support her throughout the pregnancy. There were times when I thought about how all this happened, but I kept those thoughts to myself. I was mostly happy about the fact that I was expecting another child. A few months into her pregnancy, I noticed that my wife's attitude towards my daughter changed negatively. One time, my daughter checked in on my wife because she had morning sickness and couldn't get out of bed.
Leave me alone. I don't want to be disturbed.
My wife was very cold to my daughter for some reason. Another time, my daughter brought over some food for my wife, but she said,
I'm not hungry. Take it away. The smell is making me sick.
I assumed that the pregnancy was making her hormonal, but then I realized that she continued to be nice to me. One night, I came home late from work, and I was shocked to see my young daughter at a convenience store by herself. She was buying herself some dinner. It was after 9 at night. What are you doing? Do you know how late it is? It's not safe for you to be out on your own.
Mommy said that.
My daughter told me that my wife had asked her to buy some tofu because my wife had a sudden craving for it. The convenience store was a 10-minute walk from our house. It's not far, but it was crazy to ask our young daughter to go there by herself at night. My daughter's only 7 years old. She should have been in bed by that time. I worried about my wife. If she wanted to be a good mother, she had to be a good one to my daughter as well. And it was extremely irresponsible of her to ask my daughter to go out shopping at night. I took my daughter home and told her to get ready for bed. I needed to have a talk with my wife. Please, don't ask my daughter to run errands for you late at night. It's not safe. I'm not sure that I believed her, but my wife told me that she was feeling so sick that she hadn't been paying attention to the time. I had a younger sister, and she had really bad morning sickness too, so I knew how hard it must be. I hoped that once my wife got over her morning sickness, she would go back to her old self. In the end, though, my wife's attitude towards my daughter didn't improve, and my daughter kept her distance from my wife. I worried that something was terribly wrong, so I set up a hidden camera in our house while my wife was out. I sent the images to my smartphone so that I could check them even when I wasn't home. One evening, when I was working late, I saw something in the images that shocked me. My wife had hit my daughter hard and yelled at her as well. I ran home as soon as I saw this. I rushed inside my house, startling my wife.
Why did you come home in such a hurry?
I had the urge to punch my wife in the face, but I took a few deep breaths to calm myself down. Mia, your aunt is on her way over here to pick you up. Could you pack up the things that you need so that you can stay with her tonight?
Ontario?
Yes, that's right.
Yay!
After Mia left the room, I glared at my wife. What did you do to Mia?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm referring to. I know that you slapped Mia in the face earlier. And you did it while I was at work, so that I wouldn't find out. How could you? How many times has this happened? My wife became pale when I asked her that question.
How did you find out?
I hid a camera in our house. I couldn't trust you anymore after you asked Mia to go to the convenience store by herself late at night. I also noticed that Mia was avoiding you. She seemed frightened.
Why would you do such a thing?
Are you serious? I can't believe that you would try to blame this on me after abusing my daughter!
We're about to have a baby together. I wish that you stopped prioritizing me all the time and put me and her baby's needs first. Can't you ask her mother to take care of Mia?
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I no longer felt any respect toward my wife. First of all, she had gone behind my back and broken our promise about not having kids. And second, she was suggesting that I pawn off Mia to her negligent mother. I couldn't believe how selfish she was acting. I decided to leave the house. I didn't want to be near my wife anymore. I called my younger sister and asked if Mia could stay with her and her family until I sorted my life out. I'm sorry to burden you with this.
We're excited to have Mia stay with us. You take all the time that you need. Me and my daughter get along so well, it makes me happy. They're taking a bath together now.
Thanks so much. This means a lot to me.
No problem.
I moved out of the house that I shared with my wife and got ready to divorce her. I then remembered something that my sister had said to me when my first wife got pregnant with Mia.
I'm surprised that you were able to get your wife pregnant because you had the mumps a few years back and they say that makes you infertile.
I decided that this was a good time for me to go to the hospital and get a checkup. The doctor told me that I was infertile. I told my doctor that my first wife and I had a child together. That was almost a decade ago, and you were young, so it is possible that you were able to have a child then. He insisted that I was completely infertile now, though. That's when it dawned on me that my wife had deceived me. She had fabricated a story to hide the fact that she had cheated on me. After I moved out of the house, my wife called me every day. Since I didn't pick up, she left me voice messages saying,
What are you gonna do about our baby? You're the father. You need to take some responsibility. When are you coming home?
She left me a ton of messages, but I knew that she was only being selfish. I hired a lawyer and arranged to get a DNA test to check if the baby was mine or not. If I could prove that my wife had been cheating on me, I was going to have her pay me alimony. My wife figured out that I was onto her, and she began to panic.
It's not what you think. I didn't cheat on you. I had too much to drink one night and I made a big mistake.
I recorded our phone conversation and submitted that as evidence of her infidelity. I was finally able to divorce her and also request a huge amount of alimony.
I can't believe that you would leave me when I'm about to give birth. I thought that you loved me.
I didn't have to put up with her anymore, so I hung up on her. She was wicked for making me believe her stupid story. She only wanted to fool me so that I would end up raising someone else's child as my own. I was relieved to have gotten divorced from her. I got married to my wife without being introduced to her parents, but I got my lawyer to reach out to them when we got divorced. I apologize for my daughter's recklessness and irresponsible behavior. They paid the entire alimony in lump sum to me, using all of their savings, and told me that they would get the money back from their daughter at a later time. They told me the name of the person that their daughter had an affair with, and I ended up suing him as well. I'm sure that my ex-wife is frustrated that her plan didn't go well, but I didn't care about her anymore. I imagined that her parents were very upset with her and weren't going to make things easy for her going forward. I found out later that after giving birth, my ex-wife worked all day and night to pay back her parents the money that she owed them. Her parents were happy to look after their newborn grandchild. Mia and I got our old life back, and we couldn't be happier. I felt terrible about not being able to protect Mia, and promised myself that I would never let anything like that happen to her again.
I'm so happy it's the two of us again.
I was grateful for Mia's optimism, and she reassured me that we could be happy. Just the two of us.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.